AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt. Shut up, kid. It's really low. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. We'll head to Buffalo. Matt Parrino covers the Buffalo Bills. He'll be here in 13 minutes from right now. Russ Mitchell in hour number 3. On Tuesday night, the SEC did the opponent reveal. So we had already known on 3, I guess someone within the SEC office leaked to Chris Lowe at on 3, the permanent opponents, or as they're calling them, the annual rivals. So we knew LSU was going to play Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas. What we didn't know were the other 6 opponents. We know them now. Brian Kelly on the teleconference here on Wednesday gave his reaction to the schedule release.
My initial feeling on this, and keep in mind, we've had these conversations now for over a year, but from the very beginning, this was about everybody playing everybody within a 4-year period at home and away. And for me, yeah, I get it. You're going to pull some of those natural rivalries, but you're not losing them for a long period of time, quite frankly. And so I'm excited about the schedule. It's going to be a challenge, right? 9 games. Now we're going to add another, power 4 to that. So now you've got 10. But I think they managed this and put this in a spot that allows you to play everybody home and away. And I think that's pretty exciting.
I love it. I think if you have looked at the grid and what schedules are going to look like, just adding one more conference game, the density that adds to literally every schedule across the league, it pops, right? And that's what you want. It's what I've been yelling about forever. I'm sick of the FCS and the G5 games or G6 games. Give me all Power 5, all Power 4, whatever you want to call it now. Give me games people want to see. And I know for some, they're going to look at this and go, man, that's brutal. You need the breather. You need the opening. You're going to have another loss. And yes, you are literally guaranteeing half of your league another loss, but you're going to see an expanded playoff to 16. And so the days of teams going undefeated are probably going to be few and far between. And you may say, well, that's not a good thing. I'll flatly disagree. Because right now, if you're going undefeated, it's masked because you're playing at least 3 garbage games. You got an FCS team and two teams that you're just paying. Here's a paycheck to come get your ass kicked. Like, where's the honor in that? Where's the validity in your undefeated season? You know what I want to see? I want to see great games every Saturday. I don't want to wake up on a Saturday with a weekend slate like we had this past weekend in the SEC, which was hot garbage. I don't want to come a week before Thanksgiving and see a bunch of FCS teams rolling into SEC stadiums. I don't want to see that ever again. Let me wake up every Saturday knowing we're going to have meat on the bone and a great college football weekend. And I understand that it's not going to be that way unanimously until everyone agrees. Nobody's just going to choose to schedule 12 Power 5 games or Power 4 games. It's going to have to be something where there's unanimity. Everyone decides to do the same thing, and we're getting closer to that. We're at 9 league games plus a 10th, Power 4 game, expanded playoff, and we're going to keep going in that direction because all the powers that be have realized, they can make more money doing that. I'm very, very, very excited for this. A few things. One of the other criticisms, I know mathing is hard. Somebody on Twitter, I'm trying not to call him out, but I may have to call him out just so I could, just literally so I could do this. His name is Randy. Randy said, the 4 home games one year, the 5 next. Not so happy about that one. To which I replied, Randy, with 9 league games, that's going to happen for literally every team. I mean, literally all of them. You have 9 league games. It's an uneven number. So you're going to alternate. And to the argument that that's going to hurt financially, no, it's not. Because you're never going to have fewer home games than you have presently, right? You currently have 4 league home games every year. Now, you're never going below 4, but every other year, you'll have 5. You'll have an extra one. So that'll be a financial boon. So you're not hurting your budget. You're adding to it every other year, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. In any event, the other thing, too, this is also math, but you were going to have, every team was going to have a situation where they went back-to-back years, visiting someone in back-to-back years, having the same team come to them. For LSU, that happens to be Texas A&M and Ole Miss. So next year, LSU is going back to Ole Miss. Next year, Texas A&M is coming back to Baton Rouge. I'll remind you, this happened in 2001. In 2001, LSU played Kentucky in Lexington. Won a great game. Rohan threw a game-winning touchdown pass late to Michael Clayton. The next year, they went to 12 games, and LSU went back to Kentucky, Bluegrass Miracle. So they went to Kentucky back-to-back years. Ole Miss came to Baton Rouge back-to-back years. 2001, Eli, as a sophomore, led a fourth-quarter comeback against LSU, which was devastating. And then in 2002, they came back to Baton Rouge, and LSU beat them. So that happened then. It'll happen again this year. It's okay. It's just, again, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Now, as far as the teams that LSU is going to play again, we know the 3. Yesterday, before we got out of here, I gave you my best guess. I didn't know. Nobody told me anything. I gave you my best guesses to the other 6 outside of Ole Miss, A&M, Arkansas. Can we go one by one with them? Hit it? Texas has got to come to Baton Rouge. Okay. Hit that one. What? All right, it's okay. Just play through. It's fine. Yeah. You're fine. Remember, LSU had a home-and-home schedule with Texas in 2019 and 2020. How long is this? You all remember this. LSU made the...
44 seconds.
Okay, don't worry about me. Just take a breath, sit back. I got it. So, took a stab at him yesterday. Said I think they'd play Texas because Texas hadn't made the return trip from the 2019-2020 situation, where, of course, COVID happened. LSU never got the return trip. Texas comes into the league. It was very obvious to me that they were going to end up playing Texas the first chance they had. So, Texas is coming to Baton Rouge. I figured Florida, Bama were the 2 that people were most upset about losing. Premier opponents that had been on LSU schedule annually for more than 50 years. They were going to play one or the other. I guessed Bama, just so they keep that going. Bama would make the return trip. That's happening as well. The 2 traditional rivals that LSU has always played that they missed the last 2 years, State and Auburn, I figured would certainly rotate back on, and they did. State will come to Baton Rouge. LSU will go to Auburn. And that left 4 more teams, of which LSU was going to play 2. And I figured you probably weren't going to front load it. So Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri were the 4, and my guesses were Kentucky, Missouri. In the end, it ended up being Missouri, Tennessee. So the one that I got wrong was Kentucky when it'll actually be Tennessee. So for 2026, LSU's 2026 schedule at home, remember, you're also going to face Clemson at home. So you have a delicious home schedule next year. Clemson, Alabama, Texas, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. That's going to be awesome. And then you're also, I told you I had a conversation with Verge Osbury. There's a really good probability that Louisiana Tech comes back again next year. and you've got McNeese on the schedule as well. So that's likely going to be your home schedule. And then the road schedule will be Arkansas, Ole Miss, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. So obviously, Ole Miss, Auburn, Tennessee stand out there with Kentucky and Arkansas as well. So a challenging schedule, but not nearly as challenging as Auburn. Oh my God. Did you see what Auburn landed? Auburn for 2026. Like, whoever you cheer for, just be glad it's not Auburn, unless if you cheer for Auburn. Auburn's 2026 football opponents, this is heinous. They're going to play at Bama, at Georgia, at Ole Miss, at A&M, at Tennessee, 5 road games, and their home games are LSU, Florida, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Good luck to Hugh Freeze or whoever is coaching Auburn next year, because that is hellacious. I can tell you this much. I ain't picking Auburn to finish in the top half of the league next year. That's brutal. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. New or certified pre-owned. If you want to vote a Volkswagen, of course, nobody has a better selection at better prices than South Point Volkswagen. But maybe you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle. Yeah, they got certified pre-owned Volkswagens, but all different makes and models. Because they move so much new inventory, they get a great selection of pre-owns of all different makes and models. So if you're shopping, shop the pre-owned lots, but make sure that you shop South Point Volkswagen as well. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. When you go to the website, there's a new and used car tab. Hit it, you'll see every vehicle that's on the lot right there at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. Russ Mitchell in 1 hour from right now. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Saints hit the road to Buffalo. They're a 16.5-point underdog. We'll find out more about what might be the best team in the NFL next. Matt Parrino joins us here on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Remember the Renaissance Hotel, which is Baton Rouge and LSU's home away from home in Baton Rouge when they're at home Friday before every home game. The Tigers move it on in to Renaissance Baton Rouge. But that's just one piece of the story for Renaissance Baton Rouge. Of course, Tallulah, the restaurant there inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge, a chef-inspired menu, which is not a hotel restaurant. Like, this is a casual upscale dining experience inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. Beautiful bar area with indoor-outdoor flow with what they call the terrace, which has the semicircle with the fire features in the fountain. So even though you're right there on Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, you feel like you've escaped the city for a few brief moments when you enjoy a great meal, appetizers, wine, cocktail, great whiskey selection as well. It's Tallulah inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. And of course, if you've got an event coming up, no better place to have it than right there in Bluebonnet at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We're going to head up to Buffalo. Matt Parrino covers the Bills in just a quick second. Remember, you can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Landon sent a text who said, Matt, serious question. How can you be excited about the new 9-game schedule when it's a recipe for 8-4, 9-3, and no playoffs? When multiple Big Ten teams will play 2 ranked teams, lose both, still get in. Multiple SEC teams will go 9-3, multiple ranked wins, and still get left out. So, Landon, I understand your angst. What you and people who think like you are going to have to do is reframe your mindset. You are thinking in terms of maybe a 4-team playoff like it was, or what we currently saw 1 year into the 12-team playoff era. We are going to go to a 16-team playoff. And I know a lot of people bemoan that. My point is, I would rather see a schedule full of really good games that we all want to see. and have an expanded playoff with really good teams who played tough schedules and earn their way into it like every other sport in the history of mankind, as opposed to having a bunch of dopes in a hotel ballroom try to guess about an 11-1 Indiana who played one ranked team and lost. To your point, you're going to have more opportunity as a result of an expanded playoff. And by the way, now everybody is going to play an expanded schedule. You finally have uniformity, which is a good thing, like every other sports league in the history of mankind. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Let's head to Buffalo.
Who dat say they're gonna beat them Saints? Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
Matt Parrino joins us, Syracuse.com, also the host of Shout, the Buffalo football podcast. Matt, how are you, man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'd be doing a lot better if the Saints didn't suck. How good is this Bills team?
I mean, through 3 weeks, I'd argue that they're the best team in the NFL. And it comes down to, I think, number one, having the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And there's a lot that goes into that, right? There's a couple of guys that I think you make an argument for. Lamar Jackson is elite. Patrick Mahomes, the history, the playoff performances. But what Josh Allen is doing right now in the way that he's taking care of the football, the way that he's able to be so in tune with what his team needs within every given game. He can go out there and put the cape on against the Baltimore Ravens and lead this epic comeback to start the season, and then he can go into kind of autopilot mode and work in the short game the next 2 weeks and rely on this really good running game. They're up front offensively. This has been probably an underreported story nationally the last couple of seasons. They've one of the best offensive lines in the league, and that has turned James Cook into one of the biggest weapons in the NFL. I mean, he's got 4 touchdowns this year after 16 a year ago to lead the league, tie with Derrick Henry. He's on pace to go over 20 this season already if he could stay healthy. The Bills rewarded him with a nice contract this offseason. Are there some question marks on defense? Certainly. Likely Ed Oliver and Matt Milano won't play again this week against the Saints. Young guys are going to have to be asked to step up. But offensively for the Bills is where it starts, and nobody's been able to figure out the puzzle.
Okay, well, let's sort of piece together the rest of that puzzle. I'm trying to think of a way to ask about Josh Allen's effectiveness and honestly his greatness. I mean, he's an MVP. Certainly, if you were to remove Josh Allen, they would take a massive step back. That goes without saying. But how much of all the functionality of what you just talked about with the running game, the underrated offensive line, the wide receivers, all that stuff, is really a product of just him being maybe the best player in the NFL?
I think that's if they were to take him off this team, I don't think that they'd be a playoff team. Like the offensive line is great, and I think that they could still figure out ways to run the ball and get guys involved. But if you look at this wide receiving crew, and I throw the tight ends into that mix because he throws to Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox quite a bit, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, Keon Coleman is arguably their number one wide receiver, and this is a guy that a lot of people believe is miscast in this offense as an X receiver and should be playing more as a big slot, which the Bills don't do with him at all. They bring in Joshua Palmer, who's kind of, had a good run with the Chargers, and they were hoping was going to unlock their passing game a little bit. He hasn't really broken out in this offense yet. Khalil Shakir, very underappreciated slot receiver in the NFL. I think he's about as good as it gets there. Second in the league behind only Jamar Chase last year in yards after the catch. But, beyond that, Dalton Kincaid, a lot of people in the fan base have talked going into this season about him potentially being a bust. Now, he started this season really well, and I think that Josh Allen has been very much urgent about getting him involved. He's second on the team in targets. I think they're trying to make him a thing. But if you poll people around the league, and conversations I had all offseason with people around the league, this is the Josh Allen show, and it would fall off quite a bit if he's not running it.
Matt Parrino's with us. Get him on Twitter at Matt Parrino, Syracuse.com, and Shout, the Buffalo Football Podcast. Good week to subscribe if you want info on the Bills with the Saints heading up there to upstate New York. By the way, this may be the most relevant question. What's the weather like?
The weather is perfect right now,
man.
honestly. I mean, it called for rain this week, But I've been looking at the weather app because my son plays Little League Baseball, and we got some games, some fall ball games this weekend.
Okay.
It is going to be 77 and sunny on Sunday for this game, so no weather.
Oh, man. I didn't think there would be. I'm just kind of envious. It's 88 and raining right now in Louisiana. So I'm just a little envious, but I won't be envious at all in December when you all are freezing your T-Heinies off and it's like, 77 here. That'll be great. I'll just be walking around with like a light T-shirt on. That'll be awesome. Okay, you mentioned some of the defensive absences at Oliver. How does that affect what Buffalo wants to do defensively?
It affects a lot because it really ratchets up the expectations for the rookies, Deion Walker and TJ Sanders. Walker, especially the fourth-round pick, has been the one that's really popped the first few weeks of the season. Had to play against Tua on the interception last week against the Dolphins in the fourth quarter late, where he beats his block right away and gets right into his face, hands up. Tua gets rid of the ball, tries to throw it over him. Terrell Bernard steps in, intercepts it, and the Bills go on to win. That's a huge play for a kid that, if you go back to 2023 when he was at Kentucky, a lot of people thought the season that he had would position him as maybe a first-round pick. Didn't go his way in 2024. There were questions about a back injury. The Bills did their homework. Brandon Beane was able to nab him in the fourth round. He's been really good. But not having that Oliver, a guy that they asked to play 80 to 90% of the snaps, be their pass rusher, be their top-graded, according to PFF, run stopper, you miss that presence. And, coming on this week, that's the one area of this defense that you could really say has been bad through 3 weeks, and that's their inability to contain the running game. And I look at Alvin Kamara. I know he's only averaging 3.7 coming in, but that's definitely something that's going to be a point of emphasis this week. And without Matt Milano on the second level, it puts a lot of pressure on Dorian Williams, the third-year linebacker. You'll see a lot of him. And then the secondary play hasn't been great. So it's a game where I think if you're a Bills fan, you're hoping that this defense can get right in a lot of ways. It looked really good against the Jets in week 2, and I think the reason why is, Justin Fields really struggled in the passing game, and it completely took their run game out. And I think that's the game plan this weekend is force Spencer Rattler to make mistakes. I know he's only thrown one interception, but Sean McDermott's defense over his tenure in Buffalo has been brutal on not only young quarterbacks, but young quarterbacks that are playing this defense for the first time.
Rattler's thrown a couple more that got negated by penalty. It's look, we can break down this game, Matt, but I think we all know what's going to happen in a 16.5-point line in the NFL. Let me play devil's advocate on the Bills. I don't believe this, but let me just play a devil's advocate for you if I could. Derrick Henry doesn't fumble. The Ravens win the opener. And then the 2 wins for the Bills are against the Jets and Dolphins, 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. And now they get the Saints. And then the Patriots. And then the Panthers. Do we really know how good this team is?
That's a good question. I think that they're really good. I will say today, the update on their rookie cornerback, Maxwell Hairston, wasn't probably what Bills fans were hoping for. Suffered a knee strain in training camp, started the year on injured reserve. And, the cornerback play, even with Christian Benford, who they gave that big extension to this offseason, it hasn't been good in coverage even. I mean, we talk about the run game. Like, they've given up some stats to Lamar and then Tua last week. And that, to me, is the piece. Like, if the Bills can't play from ahead, sure, they showed in week 1 that they can come back. But, they had to play from behind against the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, and in the end, they didn't have enough. And they didn't go out and add any game-changing weapons on offense. This is pretty much the same offense as last year, except Amari Cooper and Mac Hollins out and Elijah Moore and Joshua Palmer in. And I don't know if there's a guy on this offense not named Josh Allen and now James Cook that teams are scheming against, especially like the elite teams, like the Eagles, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Ravens. So I think it's a valid question. I think that, we won't really truly have a good feel on how good this team can be until they get some of the heavyweight fights later in the season. And even that, the Bills have a crazy easy schedule. Like, right. It was already, but now with Joe Burrow probably out for the season, you're talking about like heavyweight fights. It's the Chiefs and it's the Eagles, and they already have one with the Ravens in the rear view.
Yeah. By the way, Matt, I don't believe at all that the Bills are questionable. I think they're awesome and should very well be the favorite in the AFC. I was just asking the question for the sake of conversation because talking about the Saints is not really very interesting. How about how important is Reed Ferguson going to be this week?
Really important. I mean, that's to me where you have a game like this get real funky is if you have like a turnover on special teams. If he like fires one over the head of the Bills' new punter that they signed after they cut Cam Johnston, they signed him, 33-year-old veteran, after cutting Brad Robbins after his pitiful Week 1 performance. So all eyes on Reed Ferguson this week in Orchard Park.
I respect so much Matt being a pro and just taking that in stride, trying to give me a legitimate answer. I just wanted to ask you about the LSU guy. I love Reed. He's also a Yankee fan and a whiskey guy. So I think the world of Reed. So I just wanted to work in a Reed Ferguson question. That's all. He's on Twitter at Matt Parrino. Make sure you check out Shout, the Buffalo Football Podcast. Read his stuff at Syracuse.com. Before you go, this is going to feel like, look, Buffalo just does what it does. It'll take care of business and win this game. But what do you think Buffalo would like to accomplish in this game on Sunday?
I think defensively to really be able to handle Alvin Kamara. There's still a sense of what he's been in this league for a long time, and I think that they're going to say the right things, and even I know it's not Derrick Henry in that high-powered offense from Week 1, but being able to maybe limit Alvin Kamara's impact in this game is something that the Bills want to continue answering that question. Next week, you mentioned it's the Patriots, and then it's the Panthers and the Falcons. I mean, none of them really have an elite-level running game, and I know Atlanta probably should be even better than they are with Bijan Robinson, but you're not really going to necessarily answer that question. Kamara might be the best running back they faced from weeks 2 through week 9 when they play the Chiefs. So I think that's at the being better on third down. They gave up a ton of third and long. That's been an emphasis for Sean McDermott this week. It wasn't good enough against the Miami Dolphins, and that's going to be where they look to be better this week.
I'll tell Kyle Williams you said hello. Buffalo legend.
Oh, one of my faves, man. I love Kyle.
He's great. We're glad to have him back in Baton Rouge. Matt, good stuff, man. Thank you for the time.
No problem. Take care.
Be well. Matt Parrino. At Matt Parrino, P-A-R-I. Wait. Hang on. P-A-R-R-I-N-O. Listen, I get it. Moscona, you don't think I get it? Parrino at Matt Parrino. And Syracuse.com. And Shout, the Buffalo Football Podcast. Good stuff, man. I appreciate that. It's just candidly very tough to try to have a conversation about the competitive nature of this game because nobody thinks it's going to be. Buffalo's maybe the best team in the NFL, and the Saints are maybe the worst team in the NFL. So what did both teams look to accomplish this weekend was probably the more interesting thing than actually what might decide the game. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. If you want to learn more about that Championship Health Partnership, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. What I want you to really hone in on and understand is when you think about Our Lady of the Lake, I want you to think about their synergies with LSU. They are the Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. When you need medical care, the same doctors, physicians, the same outstanding health system that cares for the world-class athletes at LSU and the LSU student body are the ones that care for you and me. I've told you even well before I started doing the reads for Our Lady of the Lake, my family is, we've certainly been cared for plenty at the lake. From my GP, Dr. Curtis Chastain, Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Drew sees specialists over at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, which is an incredible resource in this community. It doesn't matter if it's heart care, if it's cancer services, if it's stroke, pediatrics, orthopedics. They do it all. It's Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. All right, thanks again to Matt Parrino for joining us. If you missed it a bit ago, we're still waiting on the official Saints injury report. Is it dropped?
Yeah, it's out. I saw Ross drop it during that interview, actually.
Okay, so here it is. We do have it officially now. real quickly, we'll discuss it a bit more later. But as expected, Chase Young, Dylan Radins did not practice. Taliesin Fuaga, Trey Palmer, Devon Vele limited. Cam Jordan and Trevor Penning both on the injury report as full participants, but Cam Jordan with a groin and Trevor Penning still got that toe. But he was a full participant, even with the toe. It's after further review. Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin update their progress for this weekend's game in Oxford, on the SEC Coaches Teleconference. You'll hear their updates when we come back on AFR.
After further review.
Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day to buy local and shop local because Clegg's Nursery for 6 decades has been serving our community. So bypass the big box store. Don't turn into the big orange or big blue box store. Go to Clegg's Nursery. Any of their 4 locations. They have an amazing selection. They have even better people to help you with whatever questions that you may have. And this is one of my favorite times of year because their fall decor is outstanding. Pumpkins, hay bales, squash gourds, scarecrows, wheat stalks. They got everything there for you. Go load up, decorate your patio, your back porch, maybe your office building, whatever it may be. Clegg's has an awesome fall decor selection. So get on by, shop local, buy local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing high school student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winner. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, the banking tradition since 1910.
They really asked Lane about his daughter dating Whit Weeks.
Yes, they did.
Play it.
Whit's an awesome kid and comes from a great family, and glad that those two are happy together, and has nothing to do with the game itself. So, but it's a really great family, and I think a lot of people got to see that probably on the SEC special where they were hunting with the family.
Did they ask a follow-up about how they met?
No.
Follow-up about first date?
No.
Has there been a first kiss?
Don't know. They didn't ask.
Whit asked for her hand in marriage?
I don't think so. No.
They didn't ask all those follow-up?
No.
Didn't get all the real important, pertinent questions in there? In the teleconference?
No. Jesus. Do you think if it weren't Lane, they would have asked? Like, if this was Kirby Smart, do you think somebody would have asked Kirby Smart that? I don't. I think it's because it's Lane.
Were you asking me, or did you just want to give your opinion?
No, I mean, I was giving my opinion, but I was also asking you.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by how much people seem to care. Because I don't care. But as I say often, I don't do the show for me. I do it for you. So the things that you want to talk about and hear about that are interesting are the things that I'll talk about here. But I do not find this interesting. I hope they're very happy. I hope it goes great for them. Wish them a lot of luck. I would much rather see Whit have 15 tackles and put Lane's defense in a stranglehold, or Lane's offense in a stranglehold. That's what I'd rather see on Saturday. To the actual pertinent things about the football game. Now, Brian Kelly did give an update on Caden Durham. And this is, I believe, very relevant because Durham, bum ankle. Brian Kelly said not a high ankle. He told us that on Monday, but here was the update Wednesday morning.
I think we're going to list him as questionable today, and then we'll see how he progresses through practice, every day. So it could go from questionable to out or questionable to probable, depending on how he moves through the remainder of practices. And we won't make those assessments until we see the full body of work during practice.
Considering Braylon Moore played with a high ankle sprain and has played 2 games with a high ankle sprain, and one of them was against an FCS opponent, my guess is they're going to do their best to get Caden Durham out there to play this weekend against Ole Miss. And I know there's a contingent of the LSU fan base that is sort of bemoaning Caden Durham. I see you on my text line and my Twitter, and I don't know that that's representative of the entire fan base, but there is a portion of the fan base that is not pleased with the start of the season. Now, Durham is averaging over 4 yards a carry. He's got a couple of touchdowns, but he's got 52 rushing attempts. For context, the next most rushing attempts is Juwan Johnson with 16. That's 46 fewer rushing attempts than Caden Durham through 4 games. Like, he is by far your bell cow, your best back. And I like to remind you as well that last year against South Carolina, when you couldn't get anything going, you were losing, it was Caden Durham as a true freshman who picked up the ball, and you don't win that game without it. And then, by the way, he gets hurt against South Alabama, dislocates a couple of toes, and plays the rest of the season with a friggin' plate in his foot just to get out there with his team. So if you're poo-pooing Caden Durham right now because you don't like the way the running game has looked through 4 games, shut up. Okay? Shut up. Got a large sample size of him last year as a very good, competent, capable SEC running back. He was the betting favorite to lead the league in rushing this year, and he'll get on track. Sometimes you got to be patient. There's a lot of things that have gone wrong with the run game at times. Some of it's missed blocks. Some of it's missed bad vision, missed holes. There's a lot of stuff there. You hope they get going. Now, if he's not available, I think it's a fascinating conversation because you have Juwan Johnson, you have Harlem Berry. Caleb Jackson only has 6 rushes for 6 yards so far through 4 games. He is just not effective. And you saw, I think, on Saturday where he was effective when he took that screen pass and he got about a 3 or 4 yard running head start and he trucked the linebacker. That's where I think he's effective, when he gets a running start. He is a one cut and get upfield guy. If he has to dance around, which a lot of LSU running backs are having to do right now, it's not very effective. Xavier Thomas has 10 rushing attempts on the season, so it may very well be, if Durham can't go as limited, a by-committee approach, but you better believe I would much rather have the guy that has legit SEC experience, road game in the SEC, who's been in those spots and come up with big plays for you. I'd rather have that guy than not have him. So we'll follow and see how it goes with Caden Durham. The big difference, as I alluded to, Braylon Moore playing on the high ankle, and we talked about it the week that Braylon was injured. It's a big difference with an offensive lineman and a skill guy, because with a lineman, man, you could just take that thing high and tight, you give them a shot if they need it, and they can just go live in a phone booth. The problem when you're talking about backs, receivers, cornerbacks, is the stopping, the starting, the cutting. The best example I can give, and I gave it all that week with Braylon Moore, was Fournette in 2016. He hurt the ankle in fall camp. They got him right to go against Wisconsin. He re-injured it. He missed a month, came back, played for about a month, re-injured it, sat out, came back against Florida, never played again, only played 7 games that year. So it's one of those things, man, with those guys that stop and start and cut, the agility of the skill guys, where it can be a little more complex. So I think that's one that's certainly worth watching, because you're talking about an Ole Miss defense that is dead last in the SEC in rush defense. And they have been susceptible, not necessarily to the 5 and 6 and 7 yard gash. It's been the 2 yard, the 1 yard, the 2 yard, the 40 yard. It's the big play, which, oh, by the way, that's the thing LSU's done really well, is hit the big play. And that's what Ole Miss has given up. So I think those opportunities are going to be there for LSU in the run game this weekend. Maybe not consistently, but the big plays will certainly be there. We'll continue to follow as Brian Kelly will meet with reporters after practice on Thursday, and we'll get that designation for how the progress is going for Caden Durham. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. Hey, remember, next Saturday, the open date, October the 4th, is Federalis Fest, music festival that is sponsored by the Williamson Eye Center. So if you're interested in learning more, if you want to get tickets, you can go to federalisfest.com. That's federalisfest.com to learn more about the Federalis Fest. Great outdoor music festival Dr. Blake is a pretty big supporter of outdoor music or just of music in general. And they're proud supporters there of Federalis Fest. Tickets on sale now. You can get your tickets at federalisfest.com. I believe it's year 3, Federalis Fest. All sponsored by the Williamson Eye Center. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We usually have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up the hour next. Russ Mitchell's here in 30 minutes from right now. One other thing I'm going to want to talk about here in about 15 minutes after the top of the hour for Sports Center. By now, you undoubtedly know that Jackson Dart is going to be starting for the New York Giants for the remainder of the season. That's been the declaration by Brian Daboll. So there's been a lot of speculation about what happens with Russell Wilson, and I was posed the question earlier today, should the Saints pursue Russell Wilson? I have some thoughts on that. We'll get to that after Sports Center in about 15 minutes. Muse has Tigers and the Pros next.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. They'll never charge you extra to come out. And one thing that I would really, really, really like to impress upon you is their maintenance program. I'm a member of their membership, their maintenance club. I believe it's $25 a month. I need to make sure on that number before I spit it out there. But it's super affordable, and it pays for itself because you get complimentary seasonal maintenance. So the heater safety check and the AC tune-up, they do those service for free if you're part of the membership club. Then you also get membership club pricing whenever you do need a repair, and you get priority service in the event that there's something going on. It's so worth it. Ask about it at River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Big shout out, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. And I highly encourage, man. No matter how old you are, it's about how you feel. And sometimes you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. It's worth going, man. Get that blood draw. Let them take a look at your hormone levels, see if they can safely, affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels, get you feeling great again. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. By the way, guys, if you are already on HRT and you every 4 to 6 months to do your blood labs, at Goodwood, they don't charge you for that. They pick up the tab for your semi-annual blood labs. So if you're already on HRT, it's worth switching. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, some encouraging news here. Jaden Daniels did return to practice today for the Washington Commanders. He was a limited participant, but of course didn't practice at all last week and missed the game against the Vegas Raiders. It's a knee sprain. Daniels, after practice, said to reporters that he feels good and more like himself, but, quote, it's up to the doctors, not my decision. We'll keep you posted on Daniel's status throughout the week.
It's kind of his decision.
Kevin Gausman was on the bump a night ago for the Blue Jays. Pitched really well, but unfortunately got a tough luck loss. 5 2/3, gave up 4 earned, struck out 7, and only walked 1. His team will be in the playoffs, but that concludes Gausman's regular
he struck
season.
Out Bregman.
He did strike out Bregman. Yes, he did. 1 of 7. That concludes Gausman's regular season at 10-11. Speaking of the end of the regular season coming, Paul Skeens will make his final start for the Pittsburgh Pirates here on Wednesday night. He's 10-10. Can he get to plus 500? And can he finish with an ERA below 2? It's at 2.03. He'll face the Cincinnati Reds. Innings will be limited, but this is the opportunity. Either way, I think he wins the Cy Young.
Oh, he's going to win the Cy Young. That's not even a question. It's just, will he be the first Cy Young winner ever with a losing record?
Yeah. And then how about this? Speaking of awards, Griffin Herring up for Minor League Pitcher of the Year. Across multiple levels, 8-4 with a 1.89 ERA, 23 starts, mind you, punched out 149 and 119 in the third innings pitched. We'll see if Griffin Herring, who's with the Rockies now, takes home that award. That'd be an awesome honor. That's Tigers and the Pros.
Saw Connor Griffin was named Minor League Player of the Year.
Of course he was. I mean, can you imagine if that kid?
I think it was, well, of course, but I think it was Baseball America. Look it up. He won Minor League Player of the Year. It's incredible. What could have been? All right, Tigers and the Pros, Rouse's, helping you cover the spread all throughout the year. Rouses.com. No, we're not talking about the point spread. We're talking about your tailgate spread. And, of course, for more than 60 years, 65 to be exact, Rouse is helping you make groceries with your mom and them. Rouses.com. Download the Rouses app. If you're hitting the road to Oxford, load up those ice chests with some cold beer, some whiskey before you hit the road. Not that I'm encouraging you to drink and drive, but like to get it for your tailgate is what I'm saying. Then, of course, all your party platters, trays, chips and dips, everything you want to meat for the grill, all that stuff. Maybe you're having a game watch party at home. Rouses can help you with all of it. Rouses.com or Rouses.com or Rouses. This feels like home. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review, wrapping up hour number 2, and glad you're hanging out with us here. Russ Mitchell in 20 minutes, recap, preview, some SEC football talk with Russ. Looking forward to that. He did text me saying he cannot wait to talk about the Oklahoma-Auburn game. I don't know what is percolating there, but he wants to talk about it. So we'll do that with Russ in about 20 minutes from right now. When we come back, should the New Orleans Saints pursue Russell Wilson? After the break.
AFR.
Putting a button here on hour 2. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Really pleased to be able to tell you earlier this week, Garrett Nussmeier, a Parish Restoration customer. We all know Garrett got engaged recently. He and his bride-to-be had bought a home, and that home had mold. And it was I was talking to Jim Woodworth about it. It was a really serious mold problem. And so Jim got a call from Garrett, and Jim went over there, and they dry fogged the house, knocked out the mold. It's all clean, ship shape. So they did an NIL deal with Garrett as well, who's now endorsing Parish Restoration. So it's good enough for the quarterback of the Tigers. You can trust Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Mold, odor, other harmful pathogens, restoration, odor removal, all that stuff. They can help you out. Home, office building, doesn't matter how big or small. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com.